talk about the big news today, guys. And that is that Bruno Fernandes of Manchester United has won the PFA Player of the Year award. We love individual awards, don't we? But Augie, I'm going to start with you because judging by last season and the fact that he pretty much swept all the awards then, this was definitely no surprise. So why wait for now to give him this one?
Well, I suppose Don and Stevie will be able to tell you better than I can, but back in the day, the PFA award was usually done quite early. The players would vote around January, February time, and it would sometimes get handed out by April. So the view was that they weren't really covering the full season. They weren't giving the reflection of what a player was done over 9 months. So they changed the system maybe 3 or 4 years ago so that the vote is held at the end of the season. And then as soon as the players are back into this season, that they'll hand out the award, because obviously they can't hand it out in middle of July or August because people are on holiday. So season starts, they give out the trophy, but it's for last season, so it does feel a little bit out of the ordinary. But it is to make sure that the player of the year is the player of the year, not the player of the half year. So as I say, Don and Steve will remember when the voting forms went out in January or February, everybody picked the same player, and you got a vote in April when the season was still 6-7 weeks to go.
Don, we know our Frank the Buff hates individual awards, but you love individual awards. You're a positive guy, so 100% deserved, right?
Oh, easy. I mean, it was back in the day when me and Stevie were voting. It was conceived or perceived as a little bit of a joke. You used to vote for your teammates. You used to vote for your mates that you were, pals with at other clubs. So now it's taken a lot more professionally, and rightly so. And you think the best player by a million miles last season was Bruno Fernandes. He topped all the charts. He broke all the records with his assists. So fully deserved.
Stevie?
Yeah, even I can't argue with that. Yeah, I think.
Here he is.
Well, listen, if you carry a club the size of Manchester United on your back, then you deserve to get the awards that are available. And so, yeah, it was thoroughly deserved, 100%. Yeah. No question.
Some would say that maybe an Arsenal player should have won this award, considering Arsenal won the Premier League. But you, Stevie, actually won this similar award, the Football Writers Association Player of the Season award, when you guys lost the league to Arsenal.
Thanks for reminding me of that.
At least you won the award, though.
How did you manage to squeeze that in?
Oh, I had to look through the history books, let me tell you.
No, we did lose it in the last game of the season, and we had won the FA Cup.
So you just didn't care when you got there?
Yeah, no, I actually, although this feels a little strange, I actually like what they're doing with this. Because as Don said, it was a little strange that, at the end of January, you're filling in these forms. And so, incredibly, most of the time, the right people won it.
Yeah.
I'll be honest. Somehow, because if you think about it, when you're doing this in the end of January, the fact that the right person won it is incredible, but it did actually usually end up the right. But I prefer this way better than the old system. It does seem a little strange right now, but listen, in a couple of years' time, when it seems like the norm, then 100% the right decision will be made. And as I said before, Bruno Fernandes was the right decision for last season.
All right, let's move on to remind you exactly who finished in the Team of the Year at the PFA Awards. This is the list. Some familiar, I suppose, suspects there, with Erling Haaland making the cut, of course, Bruno Fernandes. But Stevie, you had one big problem with this 11, didn't you?
Cherki.
Why?
Well, number one, I'm not sure he was a bot. When you sit in the dressing room and you're waiting for the team sheet to come up, there's probably, in the best teams, there's probably 9 or 10 of the 11 know who's playing, if everybody's fit. You couldn't say that about Cherki throughout the season. And please, somebody tell me if I'm wrong, but in my head, I think there was a spell of 3 or 4 games where he started in a row, where it seemed like Pep was willing to give him his head, but then he went back on the bench again and came on. Now, he played in 33 games. But I'll tell you what, I'd love to see how many he actually started. And then you look at Morgan Rogers. I mean, you talk about influence aside, he's got more goals. Maybe he doesn't have as many assists, but I mean, the game's about goals. So yeah, I 100% would have swapped Morgan Rogers for Rayan Cherki.
Don, do you agree with Stevie?
Yeah, I think so. I think when you look at pure output, and that's not Cherki's best position off the left-hand side, he's a number 10. But if you're looking for output throughout the season, I thought Morgan Rogers played really well. That's why he's got his 100 million plus move. to Chelsea. I thought he was outstanding. So the Cherki one seems a bit left field.
Mark?
No, I agree, and I think that shows you that the vote was cast at the end of the season. Cherki had a decent end to the season, so he's fresh in people's memories, but he's not a player that had a consistent season. I think for a while Pep didn't trust him. Pep was kind of wary of putting him into the team because he doesn't do the defensive work. So, yeah, he ended the season well, but I think, you mentioned Morgan Rogers, Anthony Gordon as well, he got a big move to Barcelona, so there's definitely players ahead of Cherki that I would have put in, but it's just the way the season ended and players voted from on the back of maybe a good April. All
right, well, Stevie, don't worry, it's not a real 11.
Not really.
Exactly.
A bit late for it, isn't it?
Stevie's not recovered.
All right, well, let's have a look at
you put in the side of him.
Well, we'll have a look at some of the award winners, the other award winners on that night as well at the PFA Awards. There you can see the Women's Player of the Year goes to my girl, my fellow Jamaican, Bunny Shaw, who we had a little chat with, Stevie.
We did, yeah.
You couldn't understand her.
I'm not... Well, that's rich coming from me, isn't it?
No, I was going to say, I don't think she understood. The Jamaican-Scottish accent was very interesting indeed.